Good morning and welcome to Carolina Cares, an iHeart media production. My name is Tyler Ryan. This morning we're speaking with representatives from two agencies here in the Columbia area. Relay for Life, a student-run Relay for Life group, an organization here at USC, putting on a very special event where you get to stay up all night long, enjoying food and beverages, and of course, perhaps even taking a trip in a life-size hamster ball. True story. And also a very special house that you might think of French fries and Big Macs when we talk about, but I assure you their mission is far, far greater than just a set of fries and a Happy Meal. That is next, coming up on Carolina Cares. Stay with us.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Cares. I'm your host, Tyler Ryan, and this morning we're talking about a great big clown, so to speak, Ronald McDonald, but not so much his Big Macs and what he's known for there. It's the other very special mission, the Ronald McDonald House and Charities. Joining me from Ronald McDonald Charities here in Columbia, Margaret Deans Fawcett. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am all right. You know, I love the Ronald McDonald House. I love the mission of the house to provide such a cool place for parents to go in the worst of times when your child is in a hospital. Yes,
it is a wonderful organization. We provide a home away from home for families whose children are in any local area hospital. So not just Palmetto Health Richland, but any hospital that is in the Columbia area. In 2017, we serviced 274 families at the Ronald McDonald House. They were from 32 different South Carolina counties, and 9.2% of our families were actually from outside of South Carolina. A lot of people think we only service the Columbia area, but it's really much more broad than that.
Right. Give me some of the background of how it got tied in. How did you happen to get the Ronald McDonald name? Of course, you think of McDonald's, but how did that all come to be?
Yeah, so actually in the 1980s in Philadelphia, a Philadelphia Eagles football player, his daughter was diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. And while he was staying in the hospital up there, he noticed how himself and all the families around him were having to stay on the floor because they didn't want to leave their children's side. Well, for Mr. Hill, he fortunately lived close to the hospital, so he didn't have to worry about commuting as much. But he noticed how a lot of the friends they made on the floor were from outside of Philadelphia, and it was very expensive for them. So he really found the mission of, these families really need a place to stay while their children are sick in the hospital. So him being a great Eagles star, he went back to his team and talked to the manager, and the manager actually ended up being really good friends with the McDonald's owner-operator.
Okay.
So they got together and they sold milkshakes of some sort, and it raised the money for the Ronald McDonald House. And the owner-operator just said, if we do all this, let's call it the Ronald McDonald House. What a happy name. So
right.
That's
the branding's already done for you,
exactly.
Just about, right?
So ever since then, it's been the Ronald McDonald House, and we actually have another program in Columbia called the Ronald McDonald Family Room, and it's located on the first floor of the Children's Hospital. So it's an extension of the house into the Palmetto Health. Children's Hospital to be able to provide drinks and snacks, and we do fun activities for families. So it flows into the hospital as well.
Tell me about the national footprint. We started in Philadelphia. Obviously, that's a mile or two, as the kids say, away from Columbia, South Carolina. What's the footprint now? Somewhat 30, my math is fuzzy probably, but 30 some odd years, whatever it's been. Where are you guys beyond Columbia now?
So the Ronald McDonald House Charities has houses and family rooms and mobile care units all around the world. They're not just in the United States anymore. They're in just about every country, definitely in every state in the United States. There are 3 Ronald McDonald Houses in South Carolina. There's one in Greenville, Columbia, and Charleston.
Okay.
The one in Columbia obviously services Columbia area hospitals. But it is an international organization that really is a really neat thing to offer for families of sick children. That, it is. We had a family who recently stayed 190 days at the Ronald McDonald House here in Columbia. Wow. And when I did the math, that they found a hotel for around $70, it would have cost them $15,000 just for hotel.
And I don't know if you stayed in Columbia recently. A $70 hotel room is not probably someplace a lot of folks would want to stay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it, we don't charge at the Ronald McDonald House. Right. We ask if you can, make a $15 donation. But it is, if you can't, you are never turned away. So. Sure. It really saves, and it takes the burden off a lot of families when they are, their child is really sick, and can make a big difference.
And it does. And I've met through the years my involvement with Ronald McDonald Charities here in town. Met several of the families who have utilized your services, and it is such an impact. I can't fathom. Knock on wood, my family is today very healthy. Doesn't mean tomorrow isn't going to be. But I can't even fathom what a parent's going through when you get to the point where your child's in the children's hospital for whatever reason, but especially long term.
Right.
You're the last thing you're thinking about is your job. You got a mortgage to pay. You got maybe other kids.
Right.
A home. Everything. This takes such a huge burden to at least say, look, at least I can be close to my child. I don't have to go back to to Cowpens or go to Charlotte or whatever.
Definitely. And in the Ronald McDonald House, there actually is no limit on how far away you have to be. So if you're from Columbia, but you want to be as close as possible to your child if they're at Palmetto Health Richland, you can be there. You can stay at the Ronald McDonald House. You don't have to be 30 miles away. There's no distance limit. The only stipulation is you have to be 20. Your child has to be 21 or below.
Sure.
So really, a lot of people think just because they might live off Garner's Ferry, they can't stay. Well, if your child is really sick and you need to be close, you need to be close, and there's no...
you want to be as physically close as possible at all times.
Right.
Sure. Speaking with Margaret Deans Fawcett from Ronald McDonald Charities here on Carolina Cares this morning. What's a good website for people to learn more about Ronald McDonald Charities?
So we have a website, www.rmhcofcolumbia.org. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at RMHC Columbia SC. So we're on all the channels.
Right, all the socials.
Yes, right. All the socials. So we post a lot of fun pictures of families. A lot of our families love to come back and show us where their child is or how far they've come, and it's really fun.
Sure. And you got to imagine you can find families that probably make a connection that lasts long after hopefully the children are better and they're off doing their own things.
Absolutely.
But I'll bet these relationships with Stan, because it's got to be very, very lonely to think my kid's got sickle cell. I'm the only one.
Right.
But to have that support of another family going, so does mine.
Yes.
And this is what you can expect.
Yeah, a lot of the families do end up getting close, becoming good friends, and we have staff 24/7, so the staff really gets to know the families as well. And one of my favorite stories is over last year in 2016 and in 2017, a young man was diagnosed with the flesh-eating virus and lost his leg. Wow. And after 21 surgeries last Christmas, he got his prosthetic, and he came to the Ronald McDonald House to show the staff his leg first because he knew how much the staff... took care of his family and how excited they will be after all the surgeries and how long their journey was to be able to see his new leg and walking was. He wanted to show the staff first, and that was really neat to see.
Right.
It kind of all comes full circle, and there's a lot of exciting, good stories that come out of it. It's trying at times, but
Sure.
When everything works out, it's always a good story.
That's awesome. That's a good story to hear this morning for sure.
Yes.
How are you guys funded? I mean, obviously you started with some very humble beginnings and some shakes. I suspect now the Shamrock Shake is not the only place you find your funding these days.
Right.
How does all this magic, all this respite happen financially?
So we do 4 fundraising events during the year. One of our events is coming up. It is our 12th annual Sporting Clays tournament on April 14th. It is in Camden, and we invite people to come shoot for a cause, whether you are an experienced shooter or not. It's just a really fun day where there's 14 stations at Hermitage Farm shooting sports, and you just shoot for a cause. It's very fun. That's one of our big fundraisers. We have 4 throughout the year. We also just have generous donors that give to us throughout the year that we could not do what we do without all of them. So
Sure.
Those are some fun ways
You just collect money. Anybody
Yes.
has $1. What if, and maybe there isn't a need, but I suspect for volunteers, maybe a lot of people listening who just don't have an extra, maybe they got $5, but they want to do more, or maybe they just don't have $5 because some people don't, but their heart has millions of dollars in it. Is there a place for them with Ronald McDonald Charities? How can they get involved?
Absolutely. So you might remember if you were in elementary school in Columbia, the pop tabs. We still collect pop tabs off the soda cans. That is a really fun, easy way to donate your time and your pop tabs, and they turn into dollars for RMHC. So that is an easy, fun way to just collect pop tabs at your church, at your school, with your business. And we still use them. So
What do you use? Where do they go? Do you recycle them, or is there
recycle them.
something? Do you knit them together?
Pop tabs are dropped off at the house all day, every day.
Right.
And then we have a steel company that comes and picks them up, and then they recycle the aluminum, and they become dollars for our organization. So they actually turn into cash to provide towards our mission. So that's a fun way for people to get involved. We also, every night at 6:30, we do a family-style meal. And that is provided by community partners, organizations, businesses. So volunteers come in and cook the meal at the Ronald McDonald House and serve it to the families.
And this is every night?
Every single night.
Oh, wow.
If there's not a community group, then the staff cooks the meal. But we invite and love volunteers to come in and do that. It's a really great way to give back, but also get to know some of the families. A lot of our families, their children are in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Sure.
And so at 6:30, the shift change happens. So most of our families are back at the house, showering, eating dinner before they go back again. So we serve a family-style dinner every single night, and we invite all volunteer groups to come and serve those meals. You can also do breakfast and lunch as well, but dinner is our main meal that we provide every night.
How many beds do you have at the main facility here in Columbia?
So we actually just opened a new house September of 2016. Before, we were the little yellow house that had 8 bedrooms, hall bathrooms, and we just opened our brand new 16,000 square foot, 16 bedroom home that has
Gracious.
a large kitchen, 4 living rooms. The staff are all housed at the Ronald McDonald House on site. Before, we were off site. And we also have a really cool toy room. So another way to get involved is to do a toy drive. Anytime a child comes into our house, whether they're a patient, a sibling, a cousin, they've stayed there before, we let them pick out a toy in our toy room. So we collect new toys all the time and are always handing them out to the kids to play with.
What do you do if you have an overrun? You say no one's turned away. And you've got a finite amount of room. You have 16,000 square feet. It's a pretty big spot, but
Right.
Eventually that's going to get filled up. Do you have partnerships with local hotels, or what happens if I'm the the 12th guy? In a list of 11 rooms.
Yeah, luckily with our new house, we haven't had, we stay full generally, but we haven't had to turn many families away. But if we do work with some local hotels to help us get families in there, so we don't have to turn them away.
I love it. Margaret Deans Fawcett, Ronald McDonald Charities. Once again, the event on the 14th, so it's coming up real soon, but that is the 12th annual Sports Clays Tournament.
Yes.
So I don't have to be good with a gun. You teach me how to shoot some clay?
I'm not going to be the one to teach you, but there are, it's a great event, a great shooting farms out there.
Sure.
And it'll be a lot of fun.
Tell me about
come and join
cost,
us.
registration. Tell me about all that if I want to come out.
So you can find it all on our website. Again, that's rmhcofcolumbia.org. And it is $500 for a team, $125 for individuals. We provide all the ammo, breakfast and lunch.
Do I have to bring my own shotgun or gun, or do you have that as well?
You can rent one from the owner of the farms, but it's we recommend that you bring your own. But we provide all the ammo. You can bring your own golf cart out if you want to drive through the course, and we have a silent auction with some fun hunting and those types items in there. And if you're a student or a military, that's discounted at $100. So we would love to see anyone there.
That's great. We'll put links for you at our site at carolinacares.com as well for this event. Get more information about the Ronald McDonald House. Great stuff. You guys do such an important mission, I think. Margaret Deans Fawcett, thank you for joining us this morning on Carolina Cares.
Thank you for having me.
Stay with us. We are coming right back on Carolina Cares.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Carolina Cares. I'm Tyler Ryan, and some stats this morning that really are hard to swallow at times, but there are over 100 types of cancer that are out there. Of course, we think of lung cancer and breast cancer, the big ones, sickle cell. There's so many. Tobacco, of course, the number one preventable cause of cancer. We always throw that out there as well. But a good number to think about here this morning is the fact that over 13.7 million people are alive who have had cancer in their life. So cancer doesn't necessarily, doesn't have to be a death sentence when you get those words, sir, ma'am, you have cancer. It might feel like it, but the fact that these people are alive, they've overcome, they've fought, and they've won, I think that's a reason to be excited. And it also is the mission and the dream of the folks from Relay for Life. And this morning we're joined by Anna Tunseth, and you're from the USC Relay for Life.
Yes.
All right, tell me about that organization. Relay is a national, international organization, but tell me about what you guys do here at the USC campus.
Yeah, here at USC, we have a Relay for Life organization that is run by an exec board and then a committee, and we have organizations all from USC create teams and come out and fundraise at our main event on April 13th. And we all just get together and we spend 12 hours from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Celebrating cancer survivors and fighting back against this deadly disease and just raising money to help the American Cancer Society.
Sure. So wait, no, let me make sure somebody just sat up in bed and said, wait a second, what time now? So 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Not the other way around, y'all. It's not early in bed. It's no bed at all for the night, right?
Oh, yes. We pull an all-nighter for cancer. So cancer never sleeps, so we don't either.
It seems like when I was in college, and I bet a lot of folks probably pulled a few all-nighters, so one more is not going to hurt us.
You're right. Correct.
Right. So, Anna, what is the background on your organization? I know you're a senior. You're a student. It's a student-run organization, correct?
Yes.
So does that mean that you, I guess, pass the ceremonial torch once you graduate in May, I'm presuming, or soon if you're a senior, you'll pass it on to the next person in line and so forth down as new students come in, they become involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have new directors every year and then and a new exec board and committee. So any student is allowed to apply to be on any of these. And then, of course, any student at USC is allowed to attend our event and become part of it.
Right. All right. So in this 12 hours, this long overnight that you must stay awake for, what do y'all do? When I think of Relay for Life, of course, you think relay, well, relay race, that kind of thing, but what's going to happen on this overnight?
Yeah, so every team that we have signed up, so far we have about 76 teams signed up.
Wow.
So yeah, they will each have a tent at our event. Most of them will be selling anything from like cupcakes to coffee early in the morning to just
the
dinner in
general. The coffee's going to be a big seller about 3 a.m.
Oh, yes. You always need it right then. There's that one little turn of the hour that it's like, I just have to get through this 1 hour and we'll be good. Yeah. So they'll be selling food and dessert, and some people will be having different events like bubble soccer. So you can pay to play in this big bubble and just kick a ball around. So just a lot of
bubble.
Yes.
Paint that picture for me. This is the radio. Paint that picture.
Oh.
I mean, are you talking like a big plastic bubble where you bounce into people?
A hamster circle, like where you put a hamster in and you're just like rolling around, but you can like actually move your feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can fall over as well.
Oh, yeah. And you like run into people and everything. It's a big hit. It's more fun to watch, I think. It's a little dangerous to play.
Well, that'll keep you awake. That's one of those 3 a.m. games.
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure.
Get the adrenaline rolling. All right, so you've got big ball soccer, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yes. So lots of fundraisers going on. We also have a bunch of different events up on main stage. So we have a band coming, some different people. I know someone is coming to teach yoga. So just a lot of different things that are going to be happening.
Sure. So the teams have gotten together, the 76 teams that have registered to, I guess, provide services. So are they donating their time, their resources, and I assume the money that they raise or a portion of it goes right to Relay for Life?
Yeah, so all the money that is raised goes directly to the American Cancer Society.
That is fantastic. I love. Let me ask you this: why are you involved? Do you have any tie, or is it just something you felt you needed to? Was on your heart, or why did you say, you know what, I'm going to spend my senior year doing this?
Yeah, so I have actually been doing Relay for Life for 13 years. My mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was in 3rd grade, and again in the 5th grade, and it kind of took a toll on my family. And thankfully, she's alive. She's a survivor, and she's still kicking it. And
she's still kicking it.
She's still going. She's going. But yeah, so that's really my main draw. Is my mom got me involved when I was young, and then about 1.5 years ago, I had a really close friend. She actually used to be my boss. Passed away from brain cancer, and so that's been my big motivator the past 2 years. So doing a lot for her.
You know, and that's the thing of cancer is it's hard pressed to find somebody who is that 7 steps from Kevin Bacon game with cancer. It almost feels like it's one step. It's somebody It's not generally my wife's daughter's kids, uncle's aunt's maid had it. It's like my mom or my boss or my brother-in-law kind of thing.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary to think because 1 in 2 women will have cancer and 1 in 3 men will have cancer in their lifetime. So it touches everyone.
Sure.
Yeah.
And talk about start of the segment here, we talked about, breast cancer is a big one, lung cancer. There's so many, 100 different types, and there's brain cancer, and there's so many things, and so many of them aren't behavior related. You can't see them coming. You don't, lung cancer. Yeah. If you smoke 10 packs of Lucky Strikes a day, chances are you're probably not going to be very healthy.
Right.
That's just life.
Yeah.
But so many times brain cancer, breast cancer, it's not a behavior. It's not a choice. It's not even gender specific, because guys get breast cancer too, not the same numbers. And it's not as, it's not as prevalent. But, all these things can strike anyone. And that's a scary thing of cancer is, you can do everything right your whole life. And at 45, they say, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. All right, so this event coming up on the 13th, this all-nighter, y'all. Who is this open to? You've got the 76 teams. Who can come to this? Who can say, I want to spend the night awake rolling around at a great big hamster ball?
Yeah, actually, we open our event to anyone in the community. We open it to all of our students, faculty, staff, and anyone who's in the community that wants to come out. Come. Get some dinner, see a band play. You don't have to stay. I believe Tripping on Bricks will be playing as one of the...
Outstanding.
So they're one of our school students that have a band. So, yeah.
And how much is it for the public to come in and become a part of this?
Yeah, so you actually don't have to pay anything to come in, but we do have a suggested donation of $10 or $15, I believe.
It's like $10. That's a pretty low charge to be able to spend your whole night having fun. And of course, you charge for the food and the playing the great big. I'm stuck on the hamster ball for some reason. I'm going to come out just for that.
Hey, do it.
That just looks amazingly fun to watch and maybe even try. But to do all this stuff, and you said everything is going directly to the American Cancer Society, of course, any Relay for Life team or group. That's where this money goes to.
Yes. And we have a goal of $200,000 this year.
$200,000 in 12 hours. You're going to raise 200 and oh my goodness. Now you've done this for many years?
Yes.
What's your average? Like, what'd you guys do last year?
Last year we raised, our goal was $175,000 and we raised $183,000. So we beat our goal last year. So we're hoping to do it again this year.
Gracious. Now this is a student-run organization too, so there's really no operational cost. So for the most part, if you hit your goal of $200K, that's going right to the mission.
Yep. It all goes straight to the American Cancer Society to help end the fight.
I love it. See, I like to smile when I can see you're very proud to your radio. You can't understand it, but just believe me when I tell you, she has a great big smile on her face talking about the involvement and the potential that the American Cancer Society and Relay for Life has to save lives like your mom. And that's so important that, there's a certain will to live. You have to have it. You have to fight. Your mom fought. And sometimes it's not a choice. Obviously, cancer is going to do what it's going to do. But in many cases, at least my friends and family, and I've had far too many that I want to think about, have been one form or another, from prostate to lung to brain. A lot of times it is that fight like your mom had. And that's the important part, is it's not a death sentence necessarily when you have breast cancer, when you have prostate cancer. Even brain cancer to an extent. I've got a dear friend who's been fighting, and he still does, and every day. But he's been around a lot longer than anybody thought he would.
Right.
But it's that important part, don't you think?
Absolutely.
All right. So tell me again, the date of the event is the 13th, right, Anna?
Yes, Friday the 13th.
Friday. That's a bit ominous, I think. Where is it again, Anna?
Yeah, so it is located on Blatt Fields at USC's campus. So that's Wheat Street.
You got it. Easy. What is a website where folks can learn more, get involved? And are you still taking more teams?
Yes, and you can donate on our website. So uscrelay.org. So you can donate, you can sign up, and you can also find more information about our events.
I love it. Get involved there. Anna Tunseth with the USC Relay for Life organization, the on-campus student-run organization, which I think is fantastic as well. Friday the 13th is the night. Stay up all night long. Have some fun. Get some food. Do it for the right reasons, and climb into that hamster ball, because that's just so fun. Thank you for joining us this morning here on Carolina Cares.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
And we will be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joe Perry.
And Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, here for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. Yeah, we love it when the music does the talking.
And the music stops when someone gets killed.
So never, 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 never let someone get behind. behind the wheel if they've been drinking. So keep it real, keep it real. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for joining us for Carolina Cares, an iHeart Media production. For more information on our guest this morning, you can check out carolinacares.com, find some links and information on the Ronald McDonald House, and of course, the USC Relay for Life event. If you have an agency or representing group that would like to appear on Carolina Cares, you may also find contact information or email Tyler Ryan at iHeartMedia.com. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for Carolina Cares.